University of Georgia students can smell it as they drive past the animal farms on Millage Avenue. It's the smell of animal waste, and Trisha Begum found that contaminants from swine waste could be offending more than just people's nostrils.
The swine here eat, sleep, and eat some more. Eventually, all that food has to come out, and it ends up here, in this pond called Swine Lagoon. When the pond was built in the 1960s, liners weren't required to keep the waste from seeping through. Now researchers are finding that some of that waste is leaking into the groundwaters. The lagoon sits at the top of the Orange Trail Creek watershed. When the contaminants seep through, they end up in the streams along Orange Trail.
The water quality sampling that they have done actually does signal very relatively high nitrogen concentrations.
But waste management experts say the high nitrogen levels should not scare people as long as they don't drink from the stream.
If it were in a large stream or a stream that we were getting drinking water out of and so forth, it would be a concern.
One solution to the swine waste contamination is this. It's an artificial wetland that was created to catch all the bacteria that flows in through the streams. When the water flows in through the streams, it has to go through this wetland. Now, this wetland has a lot of vegetation that's designed to eat up a lot of the bacteria that's already in the water, and then it can go into the Oconee River.
We have observed people out here sampling for pathogens in the water, antibiotic resistant. They do use antibiotics in their feed to keep the pigs healthier. And the concern would be is whether some of those antibiotics promote antibiotic resistance.
Waste Management says they're planning to move the swine center and build new tanks to collect the waste. That'll make people happy and the pigs can keep eating. For the University of Georgia, this is Trishna Begum, OSTN News.
And waste management experts anticipate moving the swine center within the next 5 years.
And now for the top headlines keeping university students all around the world talking.
Here's your campus countdown.
Proposed tuition hikes equal strikes. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to cut $1 billion of budgets from 3 Cali college systems this coming fiscal year, and students are protesting. About 1,500 collegiates rallied in Sacramento earlier this week. The University of California, State University, and community college campuses were all represented. The students chanted, "Kick us out or we'll vote you out," as they marched a mile from Rally Field to the state capitol building. Marchers raised concerns that the cuts would push up tuition fees, reduce class selection, and reduce services. The proposed cuts to higher education are part of the governor's proposed across-the-board reduction in state spending in response to hard economic times. Schwarzenegger says he does not want to make these cuts, but has to, and the students aren't buying it. They held half a dozen protests up and down the state at the same time.
Super Bowl MVP and married man. 2008's turning out all right for Eli Manning. The champ tied the knot with his college sweetheart, Abby McGrew, last weekend. The two exchanged vows among family and friends, including older brother Peyton. And the presiding minister even quipped that Manning has rather large hands, useful in his line of work. The short and sweet ceremony included a cast of 6 bridesmaids and 6 groomsmen and took place at the one and only Palmyra Resort in the Baja, Mexico Peninsula.
Authorities are learning more about the NIU gunman Stephen Nezmirchek by looking at his graduate school application essays. They are finding a young man who felt lost and alone. The Chicago Tribune recently obtained 4 essays that Kazmierczak submitted to Northern Illinois University and the University of Illinois. The letters discuss how alienated Kazmierczak felt, as well as his parents' decision to send him to a group home. He went on to state that he felt victimized by his peers during his adolescent years. Kazmierczak opened fire on an NIU geology class on Valentine's Day, carrying at least 4 guns. Authorities still do not know why he targeted the class.
Grumpy old men, no more. Turns out that gramps and grandmas are actually happier than their kids. According to the University of Chicago study, the odds of being happy increase approximately 5% with every 10 years of life. 28,000 people were interviewed over the span of more than 3 decades. So what's the key? Investigators found that people learn to be more content with who they are as they grow older, and noted that staying socially active is important for maintaining happiness.
She can't even drink yet, and most of her students are older than she is, but this doesn't scare Aliyah Sabur. The 19-year-old former child prodigy is the youngest college professor in history. Sabur started speaking and reading at 8 months old, finished elementary school at 5, and started college at 10. She completed her bachelor's degree at 14 and brought it all home with a master's and PhD in material science. Dude. Sabur spends her free time teaching math and physics at Southern University in New Orleans. She'll be moving to a new professorship in South Korea next month.
A Yale University art student's controversial project is making headlines again. Eliza Schwartz says that over a 9-month period, she artificially inseminated herself while taking herbal substances that are known to induce abortions. However, university officials say Schwartz told them her project was only fake and was for creative fiction. The senior arts major has not publicly confirmed or denied the report, but says her project was designed to promote debate about the relationship between art and the human body. The piece is part text and part sculpture. Yale officials removed the piece from the exhibition this week.
Have you ever attended church at the bar? The open-minded followers of Country Rock Church in Dayton, Ohio say, why not? About 100 people met at the pub lounge just outside the city this week for the Methodist prayer session. The beer flowed, the bands jammed, and munchies were served as the church held its inaugural service. Reverend Chris Heckeman says he's looking for creative ways to reach people in rather unconventional places. His sermon even uncovered biblical lessons from the bar's mechanical bull.
Coming up, a little tribute to Mother Earth, fashionista style.
Plus your Hollywood Minute, back in 2.